A game as massive and populated as Fortnite and its Battle Royale mode is bound to stir up some chatter about hacks and myths. We're talking those rumors about things players claim they've pulled off in matches, or secrets they've uncovered. And usually, if you've tried to test out one of those rumors, there's a good chance that it didn't work out the way you wanted it to. So today we are taking a closer look at that chatter with our top 10 scary Fortnite myths, addressing which ones are true and which ones are flat out false. So be sure you guys stick around to the end of the video to weigh in on which ones you've personally tried in the past. Let's get to it. And at number 10, fall damage. Fall damage is something that has, at one point or another, plagued us all. It's hard to determine how much damage you'll be dished out, unless you're falling from a very obvious high height. But often, some believe that they can negate the damage by trying to slide down a slope or roll when they hit the ground. This is half true, because falling can be incredibly imprecise, and entirely dependent on where exactly on the map this occurs, there can often be variations in damage, even if two players are falling and sliding down a slope right next to each other. So it's a gamble, really. Sure, you can attempt these tricks, but the odds aren't necessarily in your favor. You're likely to sustain some amount of damage regardless. Generally though, light brown earthy slopes seem to be the easiest surfaces to avoid large amounts of damage on. Moving on to number 9, destructive behavior. There's a common myth that destroying the entirety of an object will remove it from the map, specifically the small map that you see in the corner of your screen. For example, one of these believed things was Wailing Woods. The idea behind this was that if you destroyed all of the trees within the woods, there was a rumor that stated that it would be removed from the map. Now others believe that if you remove the nightclubs from the map, their music would just stop playing. Both of these are false. The game map that you see is static. It does not change, so removing all of Wailing Woods or another large object would not make it disappear from said map. And the music? Well, it's an in-game sound, although we do think it would be pretty cool if you could destroy nightclubs or other things that were meant to be emitting noises, and then that music would also stop. It would make for a fun little Easter egg to say the least. Moving on to number 8, hitboxes. There are a whole lot of different skins in Fortnite. Now some of them are physically larger than others, having features like wings, hats, you name it. This has caused speculation as to whether or not that those skins that take up more physical space or are more physically imposing have a larger hitbox. Now if you're unfamiliar with the term, a hitbox is an invisible shape in video games that detects collision. For example, if you shoot at a player in Fortnite and strike within that hitbox, you'll injure them. Think of how VATS work in Fallout games. Striking certain hitboxes often results in varying amounts of damage. Anywho, the hitboxes are the same size regardless of whether or not a skin looks larger. So this myth is false. Moving on to number 7, emote hitboxes. Riffing off of our last number here, there is also a common belief that the hitboxes on emotes are drastically different from one another. And to be fair, it is different than a regular hitbox situation. For example, the flipping sexy emote is notorious for being great at dodging bullets. The thing is though, it all comes down to the movement. Think of it this way. Say you have an emote that's dancing, and then a character that was running, right? The hitboxes move with your character when they're running. It's the exact same thing with the dancing. Unless you're really amazing at timing your emotes, and when you turn them on and off, it's not likely that you'll be able to use them as a means of defense. The hitboxes are there, it's just a different kind of movement. And they do not change in size. Sure, there is a decent chance that you could get lucky, like with the flippin' sexy emote, but it's not necessarily something to rely on. And at 6, Fortnite makes children violent. Ever since gore and violence was simulated in video games, there has always been someone, somewhere, getting uptight about the negative effects that the medium has on the minds of our young ones. An argument of many anti-Fortnite parents and school administrators is that the Battle Royale game promotes violence amongst younger people, who make up a large demographic of the players who play the title. There is no scientific evidence that proves Fortnite causes violent side effects in younger players. That's that. Also, while we're at it, same thing with Grand Theft Auto. Just saying. And at 5, the one shield glitch. Back in 2018, there was a glitch in the game known as the one shield glitch. It was a visual glitch that occurs when you take heavy damage and your shield is broken. You start taking damage despite your HUD saying that you have one shield point left. There was a myth surrounding this glitch that on occasion it would prevent you from taking any damage at all, and allow for you to have an unlimited shield for the rest of the game. Fortunately, that is not the case. It is a purely visual glitch, meaning it doesn't have any in-game effects. Aside from, maybe confusing you and confusing other people and then kind of causing you to die, so I guess it does sort of have an effect, but it's a psychological one, friends. And at 4, Spawn Island. Back when shopping carts were in the game, players found a glitch that allowed them to use the shopping carts to access Spawn Island, the pre-game lobby that players are dropped into before they get on the battle bus and their match begins. After the match begins, the island is entirely inaccessible, but back then some players discovered that they could get back on the island if they built a large structure, a long bridge, angled it at a downward ramp with a sharp upward incline at its end, and then used a shopping cart on it and carefully aimed for the island. Needless to say, this is something that can no longer be done. Up next at 3, running speeds. There is a myth that depending on the weapon that you have equipped, your character in Fortnite will run at varying speeds. The bigger the weapon, the slower your character moves, although the difference between that and regular speed is minimal. Yet some believe that that slight disparity can make or break a match. Turns out though, this is a myth that is simply just that. It's not true. It doesn't matter what weapon you have in your hands or if you have no weapon equipped at all. All player characters run at the exact same speed. Some players believe this myth was spawned thanks to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, where holding weapons can actually slow a player down. Not the case in Fortnite, friends. Moving on to number 2, bonus llamas. Everyone loves getting a llama, in Fortnite and in real life, I would assume. I don't know own a llama, but like, if someone gave it to me, I'd be like, whoa, that's cool. Anywho, it is rare to stumble upon a llama in Fortnite, so it makes sense that so many players would believe that this myth was true. Now, according to this rumor, if you get 3 llamas in one match, you'll earn yourself a special bonus llama. Considering it is next to impossible to collect all 3 llamas in one match, it's kinda hard to believe, but some people have actually done it before. And really, all that player is rewarded with is the advantage of having a ton of building materials. There's no special bonus, unfortunately. But hey, you also get bragging rights, and that's not bad. And finally, in our number 1 spot, land faster. This is a myth that has been kicking around ever since the Battle Royale mode of the game came out. If you search up any Fortnite hacks, tips, or tricks, it's very likely that you'll find this as one of the topics of discussion. How to land faster after you jump out of the battle bus. Typically when you jump out, you'll fall at a fast rate. And a little ways before you hit the ground, your glider will open up, gently guiding you to the ground below. Now if you are above a mountain or an escalated part of ground, your glider will open up much sooner. The speed that you initially fall at though is the same as all other players, but the time it takes for you to float down to the ground does vary. So this isn't entirely a myth. There are a few ways to get down faster. Some people try to fall above water, while others will aim for an area next to a hilltop, so that when their glider does open, they can then steer themselves over to the hill and land sooner. It actually isn't a terrible idea. Alright, there we have it, friends. What other Fortnite myths can you think of? Ones that are true or ones that are false? Give us a shout in those comments below and share them with us. If you guys dug this video, you know what to do. Spread that love, hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Gaming for more lists just like this one. We have a ton of other great Fortnite videos just waiting for you on our channel. There's even a playlist kicking around on your screen right now that you can click and, give it a watch. In the meantime though, thanks for watching, friends. I'll catch you all in the next video.